everybody, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Brianna Whiteside, and I create faith, fashion, finance, and lifestyle content. If you're here, that must mean you're interested in one or all of the things. And before I carry on this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share the video. Today I want to talk about the one thing, probably the hardest thing you'll ever do as a Christian, because I think it has been romanticized in a lot of Christian circles. It has been encouraged, and though it is important, and it is probably the most important thing you'll ever do, it is also the hardest thing you'll ever do. Okay, so the hardest thing that I believe you will ever do as a Christian is obey God. Obedience is not hard just because we don't want to do it. Obedience to God is scary because sometimes, a lot of times, his methods do not make sense. Y'all, when I first started out following God, I really cut a covenant with him, or I believe I cut a covenant with him. I said, if I am going to get saved, right, if I'm going to give my life to you, I can't be broke, and I don't want to be like them, right? I don't want to be, and what I meant by that was I don't want to be struggling. Like I want to be wealthy, and I also want to be able to maintain the standard of beauty for my life, right? And this is no shade to the people who are struggling, because I was once struggling too. This is no shade to the people who, you know, just don't feel like appearance matters. It matters to me, and this is my story, okay? So anyway, I cut that covenant. I really believe God honored that. And he said, I feel like he said, okay, if you follow me, obey me, and you will have those things. And I don't think I knew what what it meant to obey him at the time, but I agreed at the time. And y'all, that agreement has cost me everything. It has cost me so much. And I think this is one of the reasons why a lot of people in Christian circles don't talk about obedience like that, because it will literally cost you everything. Christianity is not an easy belief system to follow. If we're actually following it and studying and doing our due diligence, we will start to see that it is hard. It is very difficult. And we've romanticized following Christ. And this is not me saying that you should not, because I still am a Christ follower. I still believe. But I want to make this walk understandable to a lot of people who may be wondering, like, why am I struggling now? Why am I, you know, why isn't this working for me? Why am I fearful? Like, because it's going to be hard. There is a scripture in the Bible where Christ says, take up your cross and follow me. And that scripture alludes to sacrifice. It alludes to suffering, right? And so many times we don't want to suffer. And more times than not in my life, my obedience has landed me smack dab in the middle of suffering. It scared me, y'all. I'm like, did I do something wrong? Did I misstep? And I'm like, no. When I went back and looked through my decisions, I'm like, I obeyed my way here. And I had never heard anyone say, you can obey your way into a storm. You can obey your way into hardship or a hard season. And it baffled me. And it caused me to kind of struggle a little bit, because I'm like, I ain't trying to go into a storm. That's why I was obeying you. You know, like, I'm not trying to have hardships unnecessarily. Like, in my mind, if I obey you, then I should have an easy life. But that is not what I believe Christ has necessarily promised us. It may be an easier life, but he's not a genie, and he's not going to, you know, we just can't rub this magic lamp and abracadabra, he does these things for us. I just don't believe that that is what it is. And so the hardest thing, again, that I believe you'll ever do as a Christian is to obey God, because in order to obey God, you have to suspend parts of your intellect, right? Parts of your knowing. You have to suspend it in order to depend. You have to suspend it in order to depend. And in obedience, it is kind of solely dependent. Not even kind of, it's totally dependent on Christ, right? And if you have come from a background like I have, where I haven't been able to depend on a lot of people, it's nerve-wracking. It's scary. It's like, you are about to lead me off a cliff, and when I fall, you're not going to catch me. right? And I believe that that's why so many Christians don't go from glory to glory or from faith to faith, because they don't go to that next level because of the obedience required to go to that next level. It's going to cost you everything, y'all. It has cost me friendships. It has cost me opportunities that I wanted. It has cost me intimate relationships that I felt could have worked out. It has cost me different career choices. Obeying has cost me so much. And when you're obeying and you're in the trenches of your obedience or your obedience decision, it's going to feel like you're losing. Obedience does not feel good to your flesh. Obedience does not feel good to your intellect. It doesn't make sense. Some of the decisions that I've had to make over the years did not make sense. And a lot of people who I was in covenant with or in relationship with during those times told me so, like, this is foolish. I don't think you should do this. I wouldn't do this. But I'm like, I know what I heard. Like, I know what God has told me to do. And no, it don't make sense. But if I don't do it, I don't know the consequences on the other side of this disobedience. So I've said in other videos that, you know, I am a woman who knows that we all have to pay in this life. We don't get a free pass. We all gonna have to pay. But either you're gonna pay on the front end or you're gonna pay with interest on the back end. You get to choose. And even though my front end price is a lot expensive, I can only imagine what the back end price would be, right? And so I just want to encourage you with that. And if things are starting to go wrong in your life, if things are starting to get tense and you're under pressure by following God, I want you to know that you're doing it right. You're obeying Him. You are, you know, doing what He's telling you to do. He never told you it was going to be easy, but He told you that, you know, He got you. He has your back. He's not going to forsake you. And you have to, you know, walk through that. It's not easy, y'all. When I tell y'all when I finally do a video about what I went through this last year with God, I thought I was losing my mind in obedience. And I'm like, I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, how did I get here? But I got here through obedience, and He led me through that time, and He's also leading me out of that time, you know. And so I hope this encouraged you. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Turn your notifications bell on, because I will be dropping videos more frequently nowadays. And I just hope this helped you, okay? Keep the faith, keep moving forward, and don't give up. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.